show you shit that you might not know. Welcome, my friend, to the BWIT show. Alright, so now that you've got your database here created, so let's take a look here. So here's our database. We went into our text file. Here's our database and our table. Let's scroll down here. You can take a look here. I'm going to highlight this. So here's our database and our table that we created. Excuse me. So once you've created your database, you've taken a look at that there. What we're going to do here is we'll take a look at the control. Okay, that's the next part of our web application setup. Okay, so let's go back there. Okay, excuse me. So here's our let's take a look at that default db.py file. So here's that default.py file. And this is the default once you create your first initial application. As you can see here, let's go ahead and let's just go as is and open up our application. Excuse me. And what we're going to do is just see that index right here. So this here defines our index view file. So what we want though is we want to be able to see the table that we created. So what you want to do is within that default default.py file, we're going to create a function that we'll use to look at and see our cars table. So let's go back to our text editor and we're going to open up that default db file. Okay. All right, so here's our default.db file. Let's create a new function here. So just scroll all the way to the bottom. And we're going to create a new function here. We're going to call it cars. And what we want to do here is we want to create a grid view or form view. So we're going to say form equals. Make sure I got this correct too. Okay, so where's my excuse me. All right, so what we want to do is maybe the wrong thing. We're going to say grid equals grid space equals, we're going to say SQL. This is part of being caps. SQL form dot grid. Let's say parentheses. We're going to say DB, which is the database dot, and the name of that database, which was what? The table was T cars, T underscore cars. Let me make sure here. Yeah. Alright, so we got T underscore cars. And then you're going to say comma space. And you're going to say on update equals, I'm going to say archive. And then what you want to do is, to get that, is you're going to say return locals with an open and close parentheses. Okay. So this is going to define our grid view, which is the table. Will actually create our table for us. So let's save that. And so just to make sure we actually got this. So simple as that. This is you go into that default.py, you create a definition. So you're going to create I'm sorry, not a definition, you're going to create a function. Okay, you're going to create a function in order to access that table that you created. And what this function will do is display this out in a grid form. It'll create a grid type of entry style for you. All right. I'm gonna leave this up here on the screen for a few seconds. You can take your time. Excuse me. So you make sure you get this typed in correctly. Okay. All right, and stick with me in the next phase of our setup of Web2py, creating our first web application. Will be creating our view. Okay, stick with me. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.